morning, and thank you for joining me for 30 Days of Qigong to Better Health. My name is Shelton. Today we're going to be working with the exercise that helps to cleanse and purify the imbalances of the spleen and the stomach. According to Chinese medicine, the spleen and stomach both work together, and they represent what is known as the earth element. This earth element is so vital because it contains the aspect of our being that relates back to our post-heaven essence. And what does that mean? That means that at the time of conception between God, your parents, as well as the environment, at that point in time, your overall constitution is then developed and then is reflected back into the kidneys. That's considered your pre-heaven essence. But then what happens is, then after you're born, then your stomach takes over, and then what happens is that you have to be able to nurture that pre-heaven essence by the type of foods that you eat. That's why it's so important to watch the foods that you're eating and eat foods according to the seasons, and also eat foods according to your constitution. If you have a certain type of disease, I'd recommend going out and seeing a Chinese medicine practitioner or acupuncturist. Get a dietary list according to what the disease is, because what's interesting is that foods that may seem healthy for some people, according to Chinese nutrition, because of the imbalance inside the body, what happens is that it may not be beneficial for you and actually contribute to more disease. So we need to nurture this post-heaven essence, because nurturing the stomach and the spleen, then what happens is it helps to slow down the aging process also, and helps to slowly, or it helps to kind of give back to these kidneys to help to slow down the natural decline of qi as we get older. Now, it can't replenish it. Kidneys are like your battery. The battery is, once again, it was predetermined at the time of conception between God and your parents, etc. So that battery naturally declines. But it's of utmost importance of what you're eating and how you're eating, and trying to eat according to the seasons. But also something else that we don't talk about too much is, what is your state of beingness while you're eating? Some of the recommendations in Chinese medicine is that always sit down while you eat. Don't eat on the run. Don't stand while you're eating. Make sure that you're present. So watching TV all the time, if you're one of those types of people that has a TV in every single room of your house, maybe take some of those TVs out, or at least while you're eating dinner or eating breakfast, that the TV is off. Because depending on the type of show that you're watching, the more action that there is, this will actually obstruct the energy of the stomach and the spleen, and actually will cause the energy to knot. And when that happens, then the food just sits. So being present while you're eating, not arguing while you're eating. So maybe set up new ground rules for your house, that there's no intense conversations at the dinner table or breakfast table. Do it away from dinner time, so that in that way the food could assimilate better. The negative emotions that we're working with here that affect the spleen and the stomach is the emotions of worry, pensiveness, anxiety, over-intellectualizing, or thinking too much. When those negative emotions are removed or released through doing a Qigong practice like what we're doing today, then what happens is that the positive virtue of centeredness and peace of mind comes forth. One more component that we normally recommend in Chinese nutrition too is, do not drink things that are ice cold. Have your water room temperature, and around dinner, if you could have a tea, like a green tea or a mint tea with dinner, depending on, once again, your constitution as well too, but some type of tea to help to warm the stomach. But try to avoid things that are ice cold, because that also will shock the system and slow down the process of being able to assimilate and digest. So when we're doing this practice today, you can focus on something that's caused you any type of worry. It could be something past, it could be something in the present that you're dealing with, or something that's upcoming that's creating some type of anxiety for you, that you're up in your head all the time. And as we do this practice, you can imagine the color yellow, or like a yellow mist or cloud, actually filling up into the left quadrant of the body, and cleansing out this negative emotion and bringing forth the positive virtue of centeredness and peace of mind. So from the standing position, standing Wuji position, I kind of feel like a robot, because every time I'm in front of the camera, I'm just standing still. Qigong is a little bit different, or is being the foundation of Tai Chi. Tai Chi, there's more movement that happens, but the Qigong components, at least in the style of Qigong that we're learning here over these 30 days, is meant to be as simplistic as possible. So you're going to see there's not as much movement like you would see normally with with Tai Chi. So either from a standing position, Wuji posture, or from a seated position, sitting at the end of a chair, feet out, shoulders width apart, knees slightly bent, hands resting on the knees, tucking the sacrum, and then pressing back the Ming Men, and then from there, tucking the chin, pressing up the ball way at the top of the head. Okay, from the standing position, feet are out, shoulders width apart, knees also slightly bent, tucking that sacrum underneath, pressing back the Ming Men, gently rounding the shoulders, hollowing out the armpits, tucking the chin, pressing up the ball way at the top of the head. Tip the tongue gently curled to the roof of the mouth behind the teeth, and the breath is long, steady, even, and deep, 1 inch below the navel. So from here, we're going to begin by pulling down the heavens 3 times. Inhale. Collecting this beautiful energy of the day. Feeling the warmth of the Qi coming in. And if you're lucky enough to live in California, like we do, then we're very blessed with having some amazing weather. And then from here, lifting the arms up, exhale as though you're tossing a stone. So gazing at the tips of the fingers, and allow for any thoughts, feelings, or emotions to flow off, going several feet away from the body and down deep into the ground. Any tension in the shoulders, tension in the elbows, the fingers, just allow for that to flow away. And then from there, we're just going to slow down, coming back to the center, and ending, inhaling, connecting with your higher source power, whatever that may be. Or if you don't believe in a higher self, then you can just imagine a white light of energy flowing down through the body. Inhaling, exhaling. Okay, the feet bring the feet a little bit closer together. Now we're going to begin to lightly bounce, relaxing the knees, the hips, the waist. And as we're doing this practice, you just want to focus on the joints of the body, starting with the ankles. So if you want, you could close your eyes. Imagine any tension from the ankles, releasing out through the bubbling well points at the bottom of the feet and deep into the earth. Now we're gently bouncing on the balls of the feet, which stimulates that bubbling well point, also known as the kidney 1 point, stimulating those kidneys. And then from there, the knees, any tension, tightness, discomfort in the knees. Allowing for that to release. Flowing up to the hips, groin, low back. This is a major area of the body where there's the acupuncture meridian, referred to as the belt vessel, that encompasses the 3 yin meridians, 3 yang meridians of the legs. So this area tends to get blocked. Imagine any tension, tightness there, releasing out through the knees, out through the feet, and deep into the ground. Next, the center of the back and chest. Any tension on the spine in between the shoulder blades, or emotions that are affecting the heart, allow for that to release out through the body, out through the feet, and deep into the ground. Next, shaking out the fingers, the wrists, hands. If you have any arthritis, carpal tunnel, just imagine that releasing out as a dark cloud of energy out through the fingertips and deep into the earth. And from here, elbows, shoulders, head and neck. Releasing that out as well, guiding it out through the arms, out through the fingers and down deep into the ground. And then from there, I'm going to inhale, pull the energy up from earth, magic golden light flowing up beyond the top of the head, and exhale. Pulling this golden light up, and releasing out any dark, turbid energy. Inhaling up, and release, and you can do it one more time. So these 3 chi clearing exercises that we're doing, we only spent a couple minutes here on this video, but you could actually spend several minutes if you want for each of these practices, whatever feels good to you. So once you develop a daily routine on your own, if you're not using these videos to help you set up that daily routine and you just want to do these practices on your own, you could do each of these practices for as long as you want. Okay, and then from there, the ankles, once again, releasing down, the knees, hips, groin, low back, tension on the spine in between the shoulder blades. Imagine that releasing as a dark cloud. Next, the fingers, the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders, the head and neck, all flowing out through the arms, out through the fingertips, and deep into the earth. And then from there, an inhale, pulling the golden light up, and releasing out any dark, heavy energy in the body, toxicity, emotions, pain. Inhaling up, and release. And then from there, back into our Wuji posture again, feet out about shoulders width apart. From here, begin to shake all the way up the body, inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, like the Taylor Swift song, shake it off, and exhale. This is a great practice for whenever you get upset. Instead of storing that energy in you, go into another room and just shake it off. The key is to relax, inhaling, exhaling, releasing that vibration, inhaling, ridden it from your body, allowing for you to heal and not store these negative emotions that then create disease. Exhaling, inhaling, and exhale. Last one, gather. And exhale, calming the mind, settling out your energy. And then from there, with your eyes closed, still standing in the Wuji posture, tip of the tongue curled to the roof of the mouth behind the teeth, as if saying the letter N. Breath long, steady, even, and deep into the lower abdomen, also referred to as the lower dantian. From here, imagine as though warm oil begins to flow down from the top of the head, and it envelops the entire forehead, flowing now into the center and balance meditation to increase the mindfulness of your body, of your being. From the forehead into the temples, you now visualize and feel the brow bone, the eyebrows and eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the side of the face and ears, and from the base of the nose into the lips, the jaw and chin, flowing and pouring now into the front of the throat and the shoulders, upper chest, and through the biceps, the elbow creases, the forearms, the wrists. You now visualize and feel the palms of the hands leading all the way out to the fingertips. And then from there, this warm oil now envelops the entire chest and the flanks of the body underneath the armpits, through the midsection and abdomen, flowing through the waist, through the groin, through the thighs, the knees, the shins, ankles, feet and toes, all connecting and allowing for this warm oil to flow down deep into the ground. And from there, just imagine you could feel the entire front of your body from head to toe simultaneously. Feel the entire front as well as to the left and to the right. increasing your mindfulness of your body. Good. And then from there, focusing now what's behind you. Flowing down from the top of the head at the crown point, flowing through the scalp and through the back of the neck and ears, flowing into the shoulders and triceps, elbows, forearms, wrists, back of the hands, flowing all the way out to the fingertips. And then from there, from the upper back, you're going to melt down through the mid-back and low back, relaxing the tissues. Feel everything that's behind you as it flows through the buttocks and the hamstrings, the back of the knees, the calves, the ankles, heels, all connecting and allowing for this warm oil to flow down deep into the ground. And then from there, feel now the entire back of the body. Feel what's behind you. Feel it just as much in the back as you do in the front, to the left and to the right. And then connecting to your higher power. Allow for this white light now to penetrate through the center of the body. We now visualize and feel the brain. And the more you practice this, the more you'll be able to have this knowingness of what's inside. So feel the brain, the skull. Beneath the brain, feel the left and right hemispheres of the brain. And from there, you visualize the nerve endings from behind the eyes. You feel the muscles of the cheeks, the bones, the sinuses, the inner ear, the jaw structure, the teeth and gums and tongue. All the small veins, capillary blood vessels of the face. Face is very vascular like the hands, so a lot of blood vessels. From there, you start melting down through the base of the skull, through each of the vertebrae, neck and throat, through the center. Feel the muscles, feel the arteries, feel the shoulders. Branching off into the biceps, triceps, elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, all the small bones, tendons, ligaments of the hands and fingers. Now this white light touches each rib as it wraps around to the spinal vertebra on the back. Feel the spaces between the ribs. As you melt down, you now visualize and feel the heart, the lungs, the liver and gallbladder, the stomach and spleen, the intestines, the urinary bladder, the kidneys on the low back, flowing into the pelvic bone, the femurs, the muscles and bones of the legs, the knees, the shins, calves, ankles, feet and toes, all connecting, all flowing off deep into the ground. And from there, your feet melt into the earth, giving you more of the sensation of connectedness to the earth. Imagine roots growing out from the bottoms of the feet all the way down to the center core of the earth. And then as you inhale, imagine golden light coming up in through the abdomen, or up the legs, in through the abdomen as you inhale. Then as you exhale, imagine any dark, heavy energy pushing out through the legs, out through the feet, and down deep into the earth. Each inhalation, you feel the golden light come up. Exhaling, flowing down. You could even use your hands like I'm doing here to help to guide the chi up, releasing out any toxicity out of the body as you push the hands down. And then from here, next inhalation, this time we're going to pull the energy straight up the spine, up over the top of the head, down the front of the face, the chest, the abdomen. Inhaling straight up the spine, up through the nervous system, up over the top of the head, through the midline of the body, through the midline, the chest, the abdomen, flowing through the perineum, which is the acupuncture point located between the sex glands, the sphincter muscle. Exhaling, flowing down. So if you want, you can guide your hands too, guiding the energy up as you inhale, guiding the energy down. Also, this practice is called small heaven breathing, also referred to as Jupiter's orbit, meditation, mimicking Jupiter's orbit around the sun. Inhaling up, exhaling. And this meditation is great. You can do this meditation even with your eyes open. Just keep the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth behind the teeth, and just use your creative visualization to guide the energy up the spine, down the front of the face, the chest, the abdomen. They say it takes about 100 days approximately to open up these two reservoirs of energy. But such a simple meditation, but such an essential part of cultivating wellness through the body, through these two major channels. These two major channels of the body, also referred to as two of the 8 extraordinary vessels, feed into the 12 regular acupuncture meridians, which feed into the 12 major organs. So you can see from a medicinal point of view just the value of opening up these two vessels. And doing one more. And then from there, we're just going to pull down, and we're going to finish by pulling down the heavens 3 times, inhaling, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then from there, flowing directly into the spleen move, we're going to show you 2 different ways of doing this. The first one, you imagine that your hands come up and we're elongating the spleen acupuncture meridian that actually comes up and then ends right down here on both sides of the body. And we're twisting, almost like we're wringing out the organ here. So I'm going to find a focal point on the ceiling, or if you're doing this at night, find a star to move around, and I'm shifting my weight from left to right, pumping the energy, relaxing the shoulders, imagining yellow light or yellow cloud filling up into the left side of the body where the spleen is located. So the negative emotions of worry and pensiveness we're going after to help to calm the mind. You tell when the spleen is out of balance too, because a person will crave sugar or carbs. And what the spleen actually wants is it doesn't want sugar or the carbs. It wants things that are naturally sweet, like sweet potatoes, yams, pumpkin, oatmeal. Very bland. Bland foods also fall underneath the sweet category in Chinese nutrition. Now, if you find that this is too challenging, then what we could do is then we could just bring our hands around and shift back and forth. But I'm still pumping my legs. So if you see my legs, as I'm shifting the weight back and forth, I'm also pumping the blood, pumping the qi through the channels. Spleen meridian starts at the big toe, flows up the inner aspect of the legs, and like I showed about a minute ago, then ends underneath the armpits. And these channels, for the 12 organs of the body, major organs, are all bilateral, so on both sides of the body. So some of the physical signs of spleen imbalances may be a prolapse, which is when the organ actually falls out of place. You may notice, for example, with little kids, all of a sudden if they start developing chronic nosebleeds, that if you were to talk to them, they're probably nervous about something upcoming, and this is the reason for the nosebleeds, because the spleen, besides holding the organs in place, also helps to hold the blood within the blood vessels. Diabetes is considered an exhaustion disease of the spleen. fibroids, cysts, if you're somebody that has a lot of phlegm or mucus. Certain types of arthritis can be related back to this dysfunction of the spleen. Feeling bloated while eating. Overweight, underweight conditions. So there's a whole number of illnesses that we see in clinical practice that result from the spleen being out of balance. It's supposed to take the food from the stomach and then transform it and transport it up to the chest, so the food and the fluid. And if there's an impairment of that, then as it sends it up to the chest, then we may also have conditions of blood conditions, anemia, those types of things. So very, very important organ in Chinese medicine and should not be overlooked. Bringing forth the positive virtue of peace of mind and centeredness. And if you're in a wheelchair or you're bedridden due to a illness or a disease or whatnot, you could even if you can't do the movement fully, just by using your mind intent will actually create the change of helping to nurture these organs, in particular the spleen and stomach. So our mind's a very powerful thing. So if we are limited in movement, or if we're limited in energy, that's the other thing too. If you are struggling with an autoimmune disease and your energy is weak, sit down and do your Qigong. Qigong is not meant for you to have to push through it. You're supposed to get as much relaxation from the practice as possible in order to benefit the internal organs. So if you're tired, sit down. And let's do one more. Coming back to the center, inhaling and exhale, just cleansing the body, calming the mind. And inhale. Second pull, pulling down, cleansing through the outside tissues. Third pull, combining the internal and the external as we allow for the white light to release out any heat that might have been stirred, any vibration, toxicity. Last but not least, placing the hands over the lower dantian 1 inch below the navel. Imagine a white mystical pearl forming underneath the hands. As you inhale, just imagine that this white pearl becomes thicker and brighter with energy. As you exhale, imagine that the warmth from the white pearl, the light, fills up and restores the vitality of the kidneys on the low back. So each inhalation, the pearl gets brighter. And then as you exhale, releasing and restoring this pre-heaven essence of the kidneys. Inhaling and exhaling. And then slowly open up your eyes and kind of shake out the legs a little bit, shake out the arms. So, there you go. Day number 8, thank you once again for joining me. My name is Chris Shelton, 30 Days of Qigong to better health. Today we wrapped up the spleen cleansing exercise. Please join me tomorrow for day 9 as we flow into the lung cleansing exercise. We have a saying here that Qigong is a simple practice with profound results. Until next time, have a fantastic day.